So we welcome you back to York High School, where tonight the York Dukes will take on the Glenbard West Hilltoppers. But how great is it to be back here, Elmhurst, Illinois? It's normal Friday night, feeling a little bit normal. Like I said, the Dukes welcoming the Hilltoppers, led by head coach Chad Hetlett, who has a career record of 121-25. Very stellar defense that the Hilltoppers introduce. Dane, what can the Dukes do offensively tonight to slow them down? Go ahead.
Defensively, they're going to have to stop the run game.
There we go.
You hear me now?
That's it?
Yeah. Defensively, they're going to have to stop the run game. They're going to have to get a few takeaways. Coming off last week, huge player last week, Matt Kavanaugh, 8 tackles. He's at every spot on the field, stopping the pass, stopping the run. I think they're going to have a very strong offensive front, rushing the quarterback, but also maintaining that run.
And we talked last week about how much of a difference home field advantage makes, what fans bring to the game. You think, I mean, this feels, compared to what it usually is, this feels like a full stadium right now. How much of a factor does, having fans back in the stands play in tonight's game?
It's huge. It leads to great momentum shifts. It leads to a lot of adrenaline. It gives you something to play for, some people to play for. When you make a big play, you hear the fans cheering. You can point up to your friends, your parents, your girlfriend. It's a great factor.
And we talked about it. I mean, basketball play, when we were announcing basketball, those guys, we were the only ones in the stands, right? No one wants to hit a three-pointer and point to us instead of pointing, a few girls in the stands or your friends, like you said, or whatever. But we're certainly in for a good one. It's going to be an exciting one here tonight. I mean, this is just such a talented Hilltopper team. Mm-hmm. In terms of offense, like you said, it's got to be there. It's got to be there. Max Assad's going to have a game, and no mistakes are going to be allowed to be made. So with that, we introduce you to the action. I mean, it's so great to be back. It's so great to be back. And set to return, Patrick Kastner, the Michigan Tech commit. And we are off. So feel the hearing. Taken out of bounds inside the 15-yard line by a guy who we called his name a lot last week with 77 receiving yards and a touchdown, Luke Malaga. I mean, what does a guy like Malaga bring to the table?
Athleticism, his ability to catch the ball, but also what he can do after he catches the ball. His ability to pick up yards, make defenders miss. It's a huge factor in the passing game.
And so as we said, it's a very talented Hilltopper defense. Going to be interesting here. I mean, Dukes last week established a run game early. You think it's going to look very similar this week?
I think coming out of this early on, I think they're going to look for it. And if it doesn't work after that, they're obviously going to have to switch to the passing game. Something we haven't seen very much this season, but something I'm looking forward to.
Trips on the left, Assad. Looks. Gives now, caught by Malaga. Gets a few block, cuts it back. But about a 4-yard gain here. Should be second and about 6 coming up. So, Dane, we talked a lot about how those screens to kind of establish, get Assad comfortable. We're going to see a lot of that?
I think so. Early in drives, we saw last week we saw on a lot of the opening plays in every drive, there was a screen pass, something to kind of get the pass game going, something to catch the defense off guard.
Levins, the tight end, checks in as Cote comes out. Again, lined up to the left of Assad is Kastner. Assad takes a snap, pitches to Kastner, cuts back, turns upfield, and gets a couple there. It'll be second and about 4. Cote comes back on, but it's interesting. It's a two-headed monster for the York running game. Mikey Boysen, one heck of a ball game last weekend. Will we see him, make a few appearances here in the early going?
I think we will in the backfield for sure, with Kastner on both sides of the ball, running but also playing linebacker. I think we'll see Boysen in there getting a few more runs this week.
That tempo offense taking place early. Assad trying to draw anyone off sides, doesn't get a call as Fitzgerald looking for it as well. Nothing called. Dane's got his hands up and outstretched. As Assad resets, takes a snap, looks, giving to Cote, and that one over his head, incomplete. We talked about how important it was going to be for Max Assad to have a big game tonight. Dane, what do you take away from that first series there?
I think it's not something you want, obviously. Something you go back on the bench, talk things over. But next drive, let the defense make their plays, get back out there.
So Pachilo on now to kick. This will be Drew Cater, the 6'3" senior, back to receive. And this is a Glenbard West team who has a lot of size. Pachilo, his first boot of the night is a low line drive kick. And the Hilltoppers will set up shop at about the 42-yard line, and we'll get our first look at the Glenbard West Hilltopper offense. Going to be interesting to see what happens here as Brian Specht, a quarterback. I mean, this is an offense known for its play action, but you think they'll also, you know, obviously since last week, we're going to look for them to establish a run game early as well.
Yeah, they're definitely going to look to establish a run game early. There's not much to prepare for from last week. They scored, I believe they scored 5 touchdowns on just 8 offensive plays in the first half. They didn't really, their starters didn't get many reps. This is really their real first game of the season.
Speck straight up the gut, and there's some daylight early. That's Jalen Moore on the carry, the 6-foot senior. And running an up-tempo offense here and getting the call quickly are the Hilltoppers. So Dane already at the 31-yard line. Getting a first down on a first down is obviously not something that you want.
Again, you got to expect to run here.
Braden Speck sends a man in motion. Two in the backfield. Speck takes a snap. Pitch here again to Moore. He's got some daylight and going to gain about 7 on the play. Is Jalen Moore some extracurricular activity here? No flag was called. That was Wes Ho holding down a York Duke. Dane, I'm pretty surprised no flag was flying there.
I'm not sure what was going on there.
We saw a lot of that last week, kind of that, you know, getting dirty after the play is another run here. And we talked about establishing a run game. As that was Xander Sampson on the carry.
A little different front on defense from the Dukes. It looks like they got 5 guys in the box instead of 3. They got that edge protected. Kastner and I believe Pachilo both playing on the end.
And they did it last week with Smith, using a lot of that contain instead of just going with that 3-man front. As you mentioned, it's Levins as well as Kastner in there on the edge.
Levins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Levins.
Another handoff here, not going for much. As some football came up. We're going to see if he was marked down, but as it stands right now, we have no signal yet. I believe they're going to mark him down.
It did
Mark him down.
It did look like he was down. I think the ball popped out after he was on the ground.
I mean, that would have been quite a start for this Duke defense. It would have been their second consecutive game with a first series takeaway. So with that, 8:13 left in the first quarter, 2nd and 10 now at the 20.
2nd and long, Gavin. Expect the run.
We see Specht here with not a whole lot of protection. Handoff here again to Moore. He's had quite a game so far. Cuts back upfield and up across the 10. And finding a lot of daylight here early is Jalen Moore in the Hilltopper running game. Now this is an offensive line that is very well respected, especially with the tight end. A tight end committed to Iowa.
Iowa, apparently.
As well as a left guard heading to Syracuse. Specht takes the snap again, handoff straight up the middle, and Moore gets to about the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. And yet again, there's a lot happening after the play. Doesn't mean call, but you talk about an established offense. There are quite a few guys who are currently at D1 schools and beyond. For Chad Hetlett and his group, notorious for producing offensive guards. Last one was Alex Pilstrom, who's a walk-on tight end, who turned to a starting offensive lineman at the University of Illinois just this past year. And with that, the Hilltoppers are the first to draw blood.
Yeah, just like we said, expect the run, expect the run. They didn't even throw the ball once on that drive.
And that was something, we talk about that, you know, when there were no blocks on the weak side last week, they gained an average of 11 yards. I mean, that's interesting, Dana. What can we take away from that first drive?
You got to continue to expect the run. I think they were thinking maybe well, it's the first drive. You can't expect the run every time. You got to kind of play a mix of both. You can't just expect one thing and then let another thing happen. But definitely defensively, they're going to have to make a change.
Maddock gets the extra point, and with that, the Hilltoppers now lead 7-0. We'll see what the Dukes have to offer next, right after this break. So again, we will get another look at the Duke offense. Dane, this second drive, what are you looking for here?
I'm looking for some better tempo. Obviously, a few first downs. Just get something going, you know. Don't go 4 and out again like last time. It's not going to lead to it's not going to lead to good momentum.
Well, that's something we saw a lot of last week, that kind of quick tempo offense. This short kick here fielded by Berman. And the Dukes will set up shop at about the 29-yard line. That is something that we didn't see in that first drive, that fast tempo, that getting going. And I think, like you said, it contributes to momentum. And obviously, you know, down 7-0 here with 6:45 left to go in the first quarter, you're going to need some momentum.
Right, last week when they would pick up some yards, they got right back to the line. They would catch the defense off their feet, and they pick up some more yards. I think that's what they need to do offensively to catch off this Hilltoppers defense.
So we'll see what we have going here. It's Aaron Berman at the bottom of the screen. Sammy Ayash up top, as well as Luke Malaga to his right, and Kastner to the right of Assad. And now to the left. Takes a snap, handoff to Kastner straight up the middle, cuts straight across and up to about the 44, 45-yard line. You know, that's something, I mean, you don't need a big play every time. Wear that defensive line out, get it going, and certainly Kastner, as well as the offensive line, who deserves a lot more credit than they get, really taking it to that Glenbard West defensive front.
Right, Gavin, I couldn't agree more.
So, you know, something interesting that we noticed last week when Cote, number 9, was checking the ball game, the ball was typically, you know, handed off to in his direction. Great blocking wide receiver. As now Assad takes a snap, surveys, looking, fires, complete. Sammy Ayash said it'll be a first down at the 41-yard line.
And you're right. It was thrown toward Cote's side where Sammy Ayash was set up. As he comes out of the game for Fred Levens. That was a great play call by Coach Fitz, drawing the defender toward Cote, allowing Sammy Ayash to take the ISO, get the grab.
So now Berman on the bottom, as well as Malaga, and Ayash the lone man up top. First and 10 taken.
Stream.
Hey, are we back?
We back?
I think Dan, I can hear myself. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Everybody good? Drawing a man offside, and sorry for the technical difficulty, folks. We'll do our job to the best of our abilities. Dan, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
So we'll go up 5 yards, and that'll be 2nd and 2 at the 49-yard line.
We live?
Again, Berman, Malaga, Ayash the lone man up top. Dane, what are you looking for here?
I'm looking for a run up the middle to Kastner, something to pound it. Make sure you get the first down. Actually, you know what? No, I take it back. Okay,
no, I think you should have stuck with that.
Right.
Kastner up across midfield, cutting back. He's got some daylight and up to the 41-yard line.
I hesitated, Gavin. I was right the first time.
I'm telling you, you should have just stuck with it. But nonetheless, we see it going again. That offensive front really just doing a great job blocking, led by Toa Hofflick. But Patrick Kastner is picking up right where he left off.
That's why Jack sounded bad. You cut out all of his bass.
It seems like we all are awaiting a signal here. Kastner now lined up behind Assad. Assad takes a snap to give to Kastner yet again. Straight up the middle, he's got some more daylight. And up to about the 33-yard line with just under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Great ball vision from Kastner. The run was designed to go to the right. Didn't see anything there. Cut back to the left. Saw the open field. Picked up 8 yards on the play.
And that's something that he does well. He's typically a power back. Obviously, Boysen more of the shifty of the two.
Right.
But I tell you what, Kastner so far this season over the course of obviously last week, but also here in the start of tonight, is doing a great job just finding that cut and finding some wiggle room.
Definitely.
So on 2nd and 2 at the 33-yard line, 4:15 left to go in the first quarter. Assad trying to get that jump again. Dane, we talked about that Aaron Rodgers hard count. It's awfully effective, but unable to do it there. As Kastner lined up to the left of Assad, takes a snap, hand off to Kastner, cutting up. He's got a first down and a little bit more, up to about the 26-yard line now.
Another job, great run. Seeing where the hole was. He stated in an interview this past weekend, basketball has allowed him conditioning.
There you go.
So yeah, basketball's allowed him condition better. He's gotten a lot more elusive, better agility, more than just a power back like we said. His ability to move in and out has totally improved from last season.
So Berman at the bottom, Malaga and Ayash at the top. Kastner to the right of Assad, taking the snap. Looking, rolling out to his right. Assad surveying, looking for something. He throws. This one's intercepted, and that's Drew Cater on the pick. So on the rollout, there was not too much there, Dane. And, last week we saw, Assad kind of throwing it out of bounds and making more of a veteran decision in those situations. Maybe a poor decision there?
I think on first and 10, right? 1st and 10, you got to do a better job of securing the football. But don't keep your heads down because that was a great York Dukes drive.
And they really had momentum going there for a little bit with Kastner. This is where the defense, you gotta obviously this 4-man front here, we didn't see a whole lot of that last week.
Right.
You gotta have a defensive stand here. We'll see if the 5-man front, we'll see if they'll be able to do it. Expect sends a man in motion.
Expect the run here, Gavin.
Looking, the pitch. Straight up field, probably coming back, could expect holding. Believe it will be as 3 flags flew at the same time. That was Sampson on the carry. And we will be headed backwards. But you're right, Dane, that was looking awfully promising. You thought when they were driving there, you thought, the least they get is a field goal. But now you really need to step up. I need to make a stand here and then get some points on the board. So we will move backwards.
I can't. Yeah, what happened?
It'll be 1st and 22 at the 15-yard line. Speck with 2 guys behind now sends up trips to the right, and we will have a false start. We'll be going even further back. So first and 27 at the 10-yard line. Sending trips out to the right again. Speck, handoff, straight up the middle. 1st and 27 will turn into 2nd and not a lot after the carry from Luke Ford. They go back that much, that's a gift. You can't give it right back.
They have to be thankful that they had that holding call, as they will get a second chance on 2nd and about 7.
This defense was also helped by a few errors offensively from Hinsdale South last week, but unable to convert in this situation as Ford was sent in motion from Speck.
Again, expect a run here, Gavin.
Speck takes a snap, handoff, straight up the middle. Here comes Moore, and he'll have 3rd and short coming up.
Something to point out, every time they run a play, they got that one guy in motion. It's allowing, it continues to throw off the defense, throw them into a different coverage.
There's a minute and a half left to go in the opening quarter. Dukes trail 7-0. Glenbard West is on the move. Handoff here again to Moore. He gets the first down, trying to turn forward. He will for about 2 extra. And we will go with 1st and 10 yet again. You know, it's interesting because
no, they're gonna call. Oh no, you're right.
That last drive was really building up something. You felt the momentum, like we said. The energy was kind of boiling over in the stands as we get. I believe there's some confusion.
They have the wrong chain, I was going to say.
There we go.
It was flipped on 4th down.
Specht again under center, empty backfield. That is as of now as Moore goes in motion, fakes the handoff. Specht looking, and he will be dropped down. The tackle made there. A strong tackle, and a great presence there from Jeffrey Cognalese.
Cognalese, finally the first attempt of a pass from this Hilltoppers team. Cognalese exploded through the offensive line, saw the weak hole, and drilled the quarterback. Great aggressive play from Jeff Cognalese. And that's an advantage running the 5-man front. They're not gonna get much in the passing game.
2nd and 15 now at the 34-yard line. Specht awaits a call. Moore is lined up behind him.
Again, man in motion.
Handoff to Moore. And a great tackle there. He'll be wrapped up by who else but the senior Matthew Kavanaugh.
It's a player who had 8 tackles last week, won York Community High School Player Athlete of the Week.
So with that concludes the opening quarter. Dane, they have some momentum going right now on the defensive side of the ball. How do they keep this going? You're going to have 3rd and 13 coming up here to start the 2nd quarter.
You got to stop the run game. You got to force them to pass the ball a little bit more. Coming up, you got a 3rd and long. Stop the pass or stop the run, force them to pass. They have a great defensive formation to stop this pass. I think their changes that they made after that first drive worked really well.
So you're obviously in a passing situation now. Going to be interesting to see what I keep forgetting how to pronounce his name. Hetlett draws up with Specht. An accurate quarterback under 40 yards is what the scouting report said.
Right.
But it'll be interesting to see in this situation because the running game is so strong here so early. Going to be interesting to see what Glenbard West decides to do. You cold yet, Dane? You cold
Not
yet?
really.
You good?
I thought I'd be colder up here.
I did too.
To be honest with
I
you.
did
We're
too.
way up on top of the press box. I figured it'd be a little windier. I got my gloves on.
I kind of miss, you know what I do miss though? I do miss kind of being heckled by opponent fans. I do miss that a little bit. But it's just so great being back here, being back home, fans in the stands. Like we said, it's not a full stadium, but it feels like a pretty full stadium compared to what we're used to. Students back in the building, 150 seniors allowed in, and just that atmosphere is on its way to coming back. And we certainly hope we will have a full stadium next fall. Specht Looks here, he's got 4 to his left.
Pass is coming, Gavin.
More in motion. Speck looking, rolling out to his left, fires this one, incomplete. And the stop there, hauled in. It was Kastner as well as Cognolese. Hey, he's making himself known pretty early.
That was Jalen Jones, I believe, with the stop. Number
Man,
15.
had it.
It looked like with Kastner also in there. It was the two of them.
It's great. That's exactly what we needed. Exactly what we needed. Now if you're the offense, you got to go out here. You got to get some points.
Right, like we were saying earlier in the game, got to get some momentum going. They did a great job of it last drive. Obviously came up empty-handed with that interception, but that's okay.
So Malaga back to receive. The kick away, this one short, awfully low, rolling forward, takes a Glenbard West bounce. Pretty big Glenbard West bounce to the 26-yard line of the Dukes. And this is where we will see them set up shop. So I have to imagine now here, you're sticking to the ground. Patrick Kastner picking up quite a few yards the last drive. You looking for that again?
Yeah, I'm looking for that again, of course. Obviously, you do need to throw the ball a little bit more than what we did last week because now this drive they're going to be expecting it. But I say you start heavy, start early with the run game.
And so we will see what Fitzgerald has to offer as Assad takes a snap, give to Kastner, looking up the middle. They carry about 8 yards. So 11:30 to go in the third quarter. And we talked about it. Kastner's just going to keep going,
He's going to keep pummeling
he's
through.
the workhorse.
Right. It's a power back turn into a regular halfback.
You know what's interesting? That
Who
first
can make
drive,
both plays, yeah.
Agreed. And in that first drive, we didn't see them using that tempo offense. It uses it a little bit more in the second drive.
Yeah.
They go back a little bit slower here. We'll see.
Slowing it down, read the defense, figure out what you want to do, right.
On 2nd and 1, hand off to Kastner yet again. Finds some daylight. There goes Kastner across midfield, and he'll get up to about the 40-yard line, and that'll be a first down for the Dukes.
Give me some. I can hear you. I think it's just I think you can't hear me because it's getting a little loud in here, Gavin. We're not used to it. Oh,
so
huge run.
First and 10. There's a flag here. We'll see what it is. It'll be a personal foul on the Hilltoppers. And you know what? We can add 15 more yards, I believe, to the end of that run, and we will. Let's just keep it going.
Let's keep it rolling, Gavin. Keep it coming. I was dealing with the sound here for a second. What was it? Was it a unsportsmanlike? I missed it.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Late hit. Okay, late hit on Kastner. Or against.
Hetlet not too pleased. 10:58 to go in the second quarter. So if you're the Dukes, this is exactly what you want right now.
Right. Keep running the ball. Keep trusting your running back. They need. They pretty, I wouldn't say desperately need a score here, but to keep that momentum going, you cannot fall 2 scores behind to this Hilltopper team.
Like we said, this is a very talented Hilltopper team. I mean, at one point, USA Today had these guys ranked inside the top 30. We hear about all this stuff, and here's York. You just got to keep up with them, got to keep going. Any points are enough points, right? Especially with the way the defense is playing thus far.
I talked to some of the players earlier in the week, and they said if they win this game, they don't care about any games for this season. This is the game that they have been looking most forward to all season long since the fall. They haven't been out here on their own home turf in what, 500 days, I believe, something around there. Last season, the Dukes went to Glenbard West on a Saturday morning. I believe it was a Saturday morning, and things didn't go their way. Lost by a landslide.
Well,
and if they could turn it around here, it would completely turn around or put them in momentum for the rest of the season. There.
Agreed. Yeah, this is definitely, without question, one of the more tougher opponents on the schedule, and as well as Hinsdale Central, too. It kind of came down to Glenbard West and Hinsdale Central at the end of the season. We'll see what we got going here. It is Kastner trying to find an edge and able to do so, but nonetheless up to about the 24, 23-yard line after a gain of about 1, 2nd and 9 coming up. so you mentioned there is not too much passing here in the early going.
Both sides of the ball, very run heavy, something both of us kind of planned for, predicted, mentioned. And it's gone well for both teams so far.
So on 2nd and 9, Kastner to Assad's left, takes a snap, and holding, and Assad lost the ball, and breaking, and finding daylight. This is George Apostolou. And there's a flag down back at the 40-yard line. We'll see what it is.
Assad is walking back out on the field. It might be on that.
Chad Hetlett is not too pleased. Going to be interesting to see what the call is. And everyone kind of making their way back to where the Dukes were set off offensively. So we got angry fans. We got
what's going on over there?
Miscommunications. This is Friday night football is back in full force, but the confusion still exists. Is now, I believe he was marked down, but the flag, no indication of what the flag was for. So it will be Glenbard West ball. I believe they marked Assad down.
Wait, what? No, because the defense is on the field. Oh, no, the off. Wait.
This will be first down, Glenbard West. So the second turnover for the Dukes, both coming against Assad.
Oh, they call. Okay, okay.
At the 30-yard line, it will be 1st and 10. Moore finding something across the 35, across the 40, and up across the 45-yard line is Jalen Moore on the carry. Up to the 48, he was forced out of bounds by Jalen Jones. That was, Dane, that's another situation where you kind of felt the momentum, you felt it coming, and now you rely on the defense again, and you can only do that for so long. Some answers need to be given offensively. This run by Sampson will gain about 5 here across the midfield. There's 9:50 left to go in the second quarter.
It's a tough change in momentum here, Gavin. Obviously, the offense, it seems to be hanging their heads a little bit. Again, there's nothing to be hanging your heads that much on the offense. They did a great job getting downfield, but you're right, the defense does need to do a good job at stepping up here once again.
And, you know, there does come a point you're asking an awful lot of the defense to put up another great defensive stand without any points on the board. As Sampson and Moore in the backfield, forward in motion down to the bottom of your screen. And now we will have encroachment called on the Dukes.
No. They call on the offense.
Start. We're going back the other way? All right, we'll go back the other way.
The Hilltoppers were cheering on the other side of the field. They called it on, I believe they called it on the right guard.
So 2nd and 10 coming up on the 48-yard line. It'll be interesting because we've seen it all day. You know, Glenbard West with this run game has been able to get back penalty yardage pretty easily. Speck now under center, sends forward in motion yet again. And we will have another stoppage. Jalen Joe's signaling that's going the other way. It will be. We'll be going back. I believe another 5. Another flag on the play. I believe this one will come against Chad Hetlett, the head coach of Glenbard West.
And these penalties, Gavin, for the second consecutive drive, they're killing them offensively.
You know, it's funny because we talk about mental errors. You're shooting yourself in the foot at this point.
Right, you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's 2 in a row now that have backed him up. That's going to be a second and about
a mile.
A mile. Yeah.
8:45 left to go in the second quarter. Ball is on the 43-yard line. Glenbard West, it will be 2nd and 15.
I like the analogy there, Gavin. Shooting yourself in the foot.
Thanks, Dane. Appreciate it.
But
it's true. I mean, you have a
smile on my face.
You have a chance here because you got to capitalize on mistakes made by the Dukes. You can't do something like have a personal foul here. Is catching some daylight wide open. Is Jalen Moore, and across the 25-yard line and up to the 23 is Jalen Moore. We talked about being very efficient at getting back penalty yardage. It wasn't that deep of a pass, but Jalen Moore cutting and shifting for another Glenbard West first down with 8.5 to go in the second quarter.
Great catch, great extension. They're getting right back up to the line here.
Speck takes the snap, handoff. This is Moore yet again. Man, he'll be down up to the 20-yard line. I tell you what, we talked an awful lot about Patrick Castro, but Jalen Moore here really having a heck of a ball game. So at the 20-yard line, it will be 2nd and 7 with 8 minutes to go in the first half.
At this point, the Dukes are going to have to look for a takeaway if they don't want to go down 14-0 or even 10-0.
Speck takes the snap, handoff to Ford, and there will be a flag that came out here.
It's going to be in the backfield. Looks to be on the Hilltoppers. Not sure what it is.
This one. I'm waiting for a signal here. The other one's, I believe, coming against McCluskey, number 70. And it will be headed backwards. Ball on the 25-yard line, 7:45 to go in the second quarter. Dominic Carrillo, the Baylor Bear, is right there at the nose of that football, ready to go.
Oh my God. You could see him. He's trash talking that offensive line too.
Speck takes the snap, handoff to Sampson. Almost a shoelace tackle there. He'll be brought down, and out of nowhere comes Tyler Pachilo, and third down upcoming off the 22, 21-yard line, depending on the spot, completely off 19-yard line. 7:10 to go in the quarter. 3rd and 7, Dane, here. You need a stop.
You need a stop. Clearly. Force them to kick a field goal, really, if you need to. You just can't go down 2 touchdowns.
Speck with an empty backfield, another passing situation. Takes a snap.
Oh, man, front.
Handoff, finding something. Moore, straight ahead, straight forward, and barreling up across the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Hilltoppers. And at this point, you're starting to kind of take a toll on the York Duke defense.
Right, they can't be in there for so long, especially some of the players who play both ways. It's definitely going to be tougher in the second half, constantly being on the field. I think that one is a huge momentum killer with 6 minutes, 30 seconds left in the half.
This Glenbard West offense awfully efficient. Handoff and tripped up was Moore. There's so much happening in that backfield with Ford, Sampson, and Moore, excuse me. That just creates so much confusion. You can only imagine the confusion at that defensive front. As 5:55 to go here in the second quarter. The Hilltoppers threatening. Handoff here to Moore. He'll be stopped. I believe, depending on the spot, will be on the 1-yard line. 5:40 to go in the second quarter. So Dane, 3rd and 1 situation, goal to go. What are you doing?
Go on formation, stack that box.
Sell out for the run. Here we go.
Expect the run. 2 men in the backfield, Ford and...
Timeout taken here by the Hilltoppers. There were a few blocking backs in there. It was also Ford and Sampson. I believe you can expect a run here. Although, I mean, with York, we saw last week that rollout with the side throwing the back the other way to Poison. But here with the run game so far, like we said, expect the run.
I'd expect the run. I could see Ford running in formation, throwing the defense off. He's going to go wide, I believe. Then they're going to give a little handoff to Sampson up the middle.
Wow, you got very descriptive.
That's what I'm.
I think you got to call. Are you calling it?
I think I'm calling
All right,
it.
here we go.
I think you're going to see number 4 Ford run in formation. I want to say left side.
Man, you are really dialing this up.
Either a little handoff or a flip. No, a handoff. Because you need the extra blocker on the left side. It's going to be a run up the middle. Sampson's. No, I keep mixing the name. Ford's going to go in formation.
All right. I mean, offensive coordinator Dane Emmerich. We'll see. I mean, we'll see if you're right. I'm actually now I'm really going to be looking for it. I mean, we're going to put you on the spot here.
Well, that's what it looked like with that last formation. Hopefully they come out the same formation.
5-16, 3rd and goal. Hilltoppers set up at the 1-yard line.
Yep, same formation. 2 running backs in the backfield. Okay.
Man sent in motion. Taking a snap, handoff is Sampson, and scoring with ease. No flag. A touchdown for the Hilltoppers.
That's close.
For Xander Sampson.
I don't want to. I mean, I was there. I don't want to. That's tough. That's a tough blow from the Dukes. You don't want to be down 14 in this team. Now, if you're the defense, you got to look to score before the half ends.
Put in a very tough position. I mean, you know, the Duke offense has been
killer.
Has been very productive to an extent. We're now down 14-0, 5:13 left in the first half. We'll see if they have any answers on the offensive side of the ball right after this. So Kastner and Malaga back to receive. 5:13 left to go in the second quarter. 14-0, Glenbard West. Fielded here by Malaga. Fumbles, loses the football. I believe Kastner and Malaga combined and got on top of it. We will see. They did. That got scary for a second.
My heart stopped for a quick second there, Gavin.
So you talk about mistakes that kind of affecting a team. If you're going into halftime, you know, obviously we still have 5 minutes. A lot can happen in 5 minutes. But if things were to stay the way that they are, what are you telling your team at halftime?
I was looking for, you need to get down the field and score a touchdown if you want to go in that locker room and have something to be hopeful for, something that you can look back on and say, okay, we did a good job here. We did a good job there. I think the defense has done their job for the most part. They're on the field a lot so far, but there's...
Handoff, Kastner. He creates something out of nothing. Going forward, but brought down behind the line to the 20-yard line with 4:55 left to go in the second quarter. Go on with that thought.
Yeah, and again, something else you could keep your head held high on is the run game. The offensive line has done their job creating room for Kastner to run as Boysen checks in the game for...
Boysen making his way in for Malaga. We didn't see that a whole lot last week. Both running backs in the game now. For a second, I thought Mikey might have been going in there to take a snap. I'm not going to lie. He is.
He is.
He is.
Boysen is in there. Wildcat takes him.
Here goes Boysen. Across the 20, barreling forward. He'd made something out of nothing. A flag flies. We'll see what it is.
It's late.
But Mikey Boysen in there in the Wildcat formation.
Making something out of nothing.
Exactly. This one will come against Glenbard West.
Again, shooting yourself in the foot. You're just giving them extra yards. We'll take it. So now it looks as both Boysen
and Kastner. We didn't see that at all last week.
Assad, Boysen, and Kastner, the three of them are in the game. And Cote's in the game.
So at the 43-yard line is quite a blocking crew. We talk about the guy at the bottom of your screen as Assad on his way.
Is lined up as a receiver.
Down to the bottom of your screen as well as Cote.
I know. Yep.
Hand off to Kastner. Go forward. Gain of about 5 here. So kind of, we didn't see any of this last week.
No, and Glenbard West obviously hasn't seen this either. This is clearly throwing some different signals their way as they have no idea what to expect. As Boysen remains in the game, he's kind of like their secret weapon, their wild card.
Taysom Hill.
The Taysom Hill, right. There's something, again, they don't know what to expect.
Assad again now to the top of your screen. And now Boysen taking the snap. 2nd and 5 from the 48-yard line. Hand off to Kastner, barreling up the middle and taking a few men with him up to the 45-yard line. It'll be first down for the Dukes.
Fitzgerald giving him the signal. Get back to the line, snap the ball. 3 minutes, 8 seconds left.
Here comes that tempo.
Here comes that fast tempo, the fast speed. They got the dual running back, Taysom Hill package, as I like to call it.
Kastner goes about 3 or 4 yards. Again, depending on the spot, 2:55 here to go in the second quarter. We see that push. They're making a push. They're making a push. They're making a push. I think Kastner injured on the play.
No.
We will take a moment to see the situation is here.
No.
2:46 left to go in the second quarter. Patrick Kastner, the injured Duke. We hear calls for water. We can.
He tried to walk it off. Couldn't himself. And you hope to see him okay.
He gets up.
Tough player. He jacks off the field. You gotta be kidding me. That is he's the toughest kid I've ever seen. Tough as nails. Jags off the field. Not much of a limp.
He'll head to the bench. We will monitor that situation closely. Obviously, Patrick Kastner has had one hell of a ball game so far.
And now
that brings Boysen in now.
Yeah, I was going to say a different offensive package. Again, you got to put Boysen at running back.
Levins lined up in the slot. Assad takes in, batted down.
No. Where's the whistle?
That was not a backward pass. I could see that from up here. I don't know why you don't just rule that an incomplete pass, whatever. That was Denon Lamorius. We talk about that Iowa commit, the block there. Yeah, I don't know why. I could have ruled that in my sleep. But nonetheless, it will be 3rd and 7 with 2:34 to go in the second quarter. In the Glenbard West 42. Dane, throwing situation here with Kastner out of the ball game.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look to throw the ball now. You're missing your power back, your normal running, but you're missing the whole running game with Kastner out of the game. I mean, obviously you have Boysen. You can.
Assad flips to Boysen. Boysen fires a shot. This one, nearly caught, but just over the head of Luke Malaga.
It was there. Hit him in the hand.
That throw just barely off.
Couldn't get his left hand up.
Offense
that would have been huge.
Offense going to stay. The punt crew will now come on. But that was a fun call. But obviously, Boysen throwing out the arm. It's hard to come in and without taking any warm-up reps.
Right.
Try and throw a ball like that and thread the needle through 2 defenders.
I talked to Boysen last week about their offensive package. He told me to expect that. Boysen's a player, a quarterback, switch to running back. As we mentioned
Pachilo
last
line
week.
drive boot. This is going to be a great spot for the Dukes. At the 4-yard line, a great punt there from Tyler Pachilo. A little Pat McAfee. As the Dukes will, as Hilltoppers will set up shop.
Did you just compare
inside the 5 at the 4. I did. I think he did a little golf. I think he did a little golf swing at the end. I think he did a golf swing.
The celebration. All right.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Coach Hedlett has drawn up here. 2:19 left to go in the opening quarter. Dane, yet again, with no points on the board, you're putting some pressure on your defense to make yet another stand.
Obviously here, 2 minutes left. You just can't let them get downfield.
Handoff to Moore. Don't know what he's averaging, but it's definitely not a low number per carry. As we approach the 2-minute mark in the first half, it'll be 2nd and 3. As Moore comes out of the ball game, no medical attention needed. But you're putting a lot on your defense here in another situation with 1:54 to go in the first half. I think we need to install a play clock. This is.
I think that there is a play clock. We just can't see it.
Yeah. Everyone needs to be able to see a play clock. We need to make a universal play clock, because this is getting. We're yelling at guys down the sideline. They're watching film.
I do think there was a referee timeout. I don't think the play clock.
That was a referee timeout?
Yeah, it was a referee timeout. I don't know what it was for, but there was.
Just some confusion.
Yeah.
Got it. Speck under center. Since Sampson in motion. Now Ford in motion. Takes a snap, handoff straight up the gut. This will be a first down to Glenbard West, and barreling forward, putting his head down. It was Jimmy Zidlow on the carry.
Minute 21 remaining in the first half.
There you go. Second quarter, first half. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line, Glenbard West. Now Speck moves back, sends Ford up front. All alone in the backfield. Speck takes a snap. Another handoff here. Up the right side. This is Moore. Up to about the 30-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Locke and Hendren.
And look who's back in the game.
Good sign here. Patrick Castor makes his way back into the ball game with 46 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Speck yet again all alone, but as we've learned, it does not mean too much. Often sending a man in motion. Just hand the ball off. He will do it yet again. Hand off here to Sampson. To the left side, cutting back upfield across the 35-yard line. Late flag comes in here. I believe this will be holding called against.
You know, something good about this run offense.
Just for the record, it will be holding. I should just put me in some stripes right now. That's like
we call a better game up here than the guys down there. Sorry, I probably shouldn't be saying that.
Go ahead. Go on with that thought.
The run game, it drains the clock a lot more. I mean, it's helpful in sometimes, but not helpful in others, right? So if you wanted to get down the field and score right now with just running game, obviously it wouldn't work like that.
You know, Cody Maddock is on that far sideline. Working on the legs. So you could be expecting here 20 seconds left to go in the second quarter. We'll see if there's any aggressive play here as firing is Speck has Justin Moore up across almost midfield, knocked out at the 49-yard line just before with 9 seconds left to go. Number 38, that was Hayden Rainier taking him out of bounds, 9 seconds to go. That's interesting. I mean, because, if you get, we don't have the intel to know what this kicker's range is, but 9 seconds you could get, a chunk full of yardage and possibly have a shot at it to end the opening half. Speck takes the snap, looks, fires. This one tipped a few times, but knocked out of bounds. That was intended for more. 4 seconds now, 2nd and 10. Here comes number 23, Jeffrey Grace.
Defensive end. The fans are loving it.
Timeout taken by the Dukes. So 4 seconds to go in the second quarter. Now, Dane, pending something crazy happening, still down 2 touchdowns. We're in that situation. What are you going in and telling your guys at halftime?
I think I'm propping the defense for holding their ground. They've gone through, I think, 2 or 3 really long, really strong defensive stops, or one of them, I guess you could say, slipped by them at the end with a penalty. But I think the run game has done a really good job. I think the defense has done a really good job. I think there just needs to be a few offensive adjustments besides the running game, and maybe a few defensive adjustments to stop that run game from picking up massive yards like they have.
Well, and going forward, all it takes is one play, right? Offensively, all it takes is one play to change the ball game. Defense, you got to make. In most situations, you're going to make a stand. Might not be a takeaway, but offensively, it's a lot. It seems to be a little bit easier to just have to give you energy off of one play.
Right. That is a great point. There has been a few plays from the Hilltoppers that have really given them the advantage in this game, but for the most part, you're right. It is very even.
Final play of the half. Speck loses it. He will fire. There's a flag on the play. The Iowa commit Dane Lamoris in the reception, and that's how we will end.
Should be called on the offense.
The first half. We'll see what the call is here before we take a break.
I think it's going to be a hold.
As we all wait.
Yeah. What are they doing? Yeah.
It will be against Glenbard West. And Lamoris sitting there conferencing with the ref. But with that, we will end the first half. Glenbard West leads 14-0. We'll see if the Dukes have some answers in the second. We're good. We're good. You're good.
We're good.
I'm good. We're good. All right. End of the first half. 14-0, not where we wanted to be.
No.
But going forward, what adjustments do you think were made there in the halftime meeting?
I think defensively, I went down there, I heard them talking, they got to stop that run game. All right. Dual backfield. They got to understand which running back that it's going to. But they also saying, you got to make tackles, right? You got to put the ball carrier on the ground. You can't give them extra yards. You can't give them anything that they shouldn't get, right? You got to you got to know where you're going, where you're assigned to make that right play.
So 24 minutes left of football. We've seen a lot from the defense. Regardless of the scoreboard, you're holding a pretty high-scoring offense to 14 points. I mean, that's a step in the right direction. Obviously, Glenbard West putting up 56 points last week, but offensively, it's just not there. What can the Dukes do to get things going again?
Offensively, I think they got to stick with the run game. I think they're doing a very good job with it, but again, you can't rely on it the whole time. So they do need to figure out passing rise what they're going to do as well. You got to get the ball in the hands. In terms of your receivers, you got to get the ball in the hands of the players that are going to make plays after they catch it, going to pick up yards, make their man miss. You got to try something new.
It'll be very interesting to see what we can expect here play calling wise. This Glenbard West team, known for a lot of trick plays. Going to be interesting to see if we'll see more of that in the second half. Real quickly, I was instructed, you said happy birthday to her earlier. I'm supposed to give a quick shout out. My grandmother, Susan Foster, real quickly, just like to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And so we'll get ready for the second half. We're a minute away from kickoff, and we'll see if the Dukes can supply an answer to a 14-0 lead from the Hilltoppers. We'll be right back.
Set to start the second half. Kicking off for the Dukes, number 18, Max, the leg, Hansman.
So Max, the leg, Hansman off to kick. Dane, we're asking the defense yet again here. Going to be interesting to see if they can stop this electric Glenbard West run game. Hansman to kick as we get started for the next 24 minutes of football. The second half is underway. Kick inside the 5 is a great kick there, but finding some open room. That was, who else but Sampson again. We've seen a lot from these guys. Those three running backs we mentioned, Ford, Sampson, and Moore. We've seen a lot from them, right? I mean, it doesn't even have to involve them touching the football. They've been used in motion. They've been used to throw people off. How can you just get that under control?
You got to identify where the ball's going before it goes to them. Defensively, right, you're going to see this front. They're going to pay attention, see who's in the backfield, how they're lined up, right side, left side. They've been running, they've been liking to run.
Fired the outside. Great stop there, great tackle, but given forward progress, that was Jalen Jones, and stop.
As I was saying, they like to run left. So you're going to pay attention who's in motion, who's going to be that leading blocker. And it happens quick, paying attention where it goes.
I believe it's Braden's speech. So there's a couple websites that got his name wrong. That was not on us. So the quarterback speech now again under center. Sends Ford in motion. Hand off to Sampson. Sampson met with a whole lot of green. And this will bring up believe first down. So 1st and 10. Not what you wanted on 2nd and 6. Hoping to kind of turn that into a 3rd down situation, really get the Hilltoppers thinking. So at the 34-yard line, Glenbard West rolls on. Speech all alone in the backfield. Hand off to Moore. Right side, cuts it back, but stopped and met by Carrillo. It's Kavanaugh, excuse me. We see, you know, it's interesting because this is what's going to come down to, approaching teams in different ways. Obviously, that 3-man front was effective last week, but this 4-man front, 5-man front has been very effective here tonight. Speech now rolling, looking, firing. This one low and out of the reach, far side. Intended by Lamorris. It was Rainier on the coverage.
And as you were saying with that 4-man front, what it does is it's a lot more effective against run-heavy offenses. They like to throw either Kastner or I believe Prashilo up on the line, depending on what side it's going to, depending on who's in the game. Prashilo, I think Grace has gotten in the game a few times. But as you can see, Kastner lining up on that left side, the strong side, expecting that run to come. But every time they flip a man in motion, and Prashilo almost has to pick it up.
On 3rd and 6, here we go. Forward in motion, looking, Speech fires near side. Moore cuts it back, cuts again. 50, 45, and up to the 40-yard line of the Dukes. Knocked out of bounds there by Jalen Jones. Dane, not what we wanted on 3rd down.
Right. They were more lined up, waiting for that run like we were just talking about. Made 2 men miss.
You know, again, in so many offensive weapons, when they're not getting the football, they're used as decoys and awfully effective.
Right.
As you saw there, Ford was sent in motion and released Moore right into the flat. Speech again under center. Looking, miscommunications along the way, brought down and ripped down by Alex Borman. Zach Borman, excuse me, thank you, Zach Borman.
That's a big body on the defensive line, a player you want on your team, and you definitely don't want to meet defensively.
I don't know. I get it.
Or offensively.
I mean, we talk about Alex Sherman, the hot hand all the time. My bad on that one. Zach Borman on the tackle. Ford sent in motion here now. Handoff straight up the middle to Moore. I tell you, not too much. Like, passing yards for Speech are not all there. This run game is just so effective.
And they're picking up at least 3-4 yards every play.
So here we go. They find themselves in a similar situation. 3rd and 6 again, 9:20 to go in the 3rd quarter at the 35-yard line of the Dukes. We'll look for another defensive stop. Speech sends a man in motion. And they got it.
He's going to be short. No, he's going to be short.
He should be. I don't think it should be up for debate. A flag on the play. This one will come on the Duke bench.
What? A lot of penalties thrown this game. No, they picked up the flag.
They picked up the flag, but asking the Dukes to move backwards. That was just similar to baseball. I think that's a little bit of a bench warning there.
Yeah, I think so too. There's been a lot of flags we've seen from this team early in the game.
Someone got too far on the field.
Yeah.
So 4th and 3. Here we go at the 32-yard line of the Dukes. Sending the man in motion again is Speech. He's got Ford lined up behind him. That's a man to keep an eye on there in the slot.
Expect that.
Looking,
screen,
firing, the pass, the screen, breaking a tackle. And moving, we'll see if it's enough. That was Danny Vesevic on the reception. And we will, for the first time this season, we will bring out the chains.
I think it's going to be real close, Gavin. I really can't tell from up here.
Keep in mind, if any point of that football is even touching the line to gain, that is a Glenbard West first down. We'll see how generous, or if the spot of the football was generous.
No.
They give it to him. So at Glenbard West, first down because of the spot. You know, it was a great stand, but we'll have to try again. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line, upcoming for the Hilltoppers.
And that's heartbreaking if you're the Dukes defense. You know, it's the second time they've gotten down to a situation like that on 3rd down. Hasn't gone right for them. Or it hasn't gone their way. It's gone their way 0 out of 2 times on this drive.
Fitzgerald didn't like the spot. I'll let the line judge know that. But taking the snap here and handing off to Sampson. Sampson barreling forward, getting a gain of about 8 here. And football came out. Matthew Kavanaugh has the football. And we'll see. We'll make sure nobody was marked down. I think we're good. No flags on the play. Matthew Kavanaugh has his first fumble recovery of the season. We'll have a conference amongst the officials here.
Oh, give me a break.
There
it is!
Yeah! With the fumble recovery. I mean, that was a Christmas gift for him, right in his lap. And the Dukes will set up shop. 1st and 10 from their own 27. And what a stand from this defense. A great stop and just what they wanted after that line to gain and that line judge coming out, a somewhat generous spot, but nonetheless making the stop, turning things around. Matthew Kavanaugh shows it takes one play on defense too. We'll see if the defense now can just get something going.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. That ball was just popped out, went right into his hands. And talk about a kid who's all over the field at all times. We've been saying it this week, last week, a kid who had 8 tackles last week. And now a fumble recovery.
Here we go. Hand off to Kastner, and he'll be dropped behind the line. That was just I felt like every member of Glenbard West there meeting in. Behind the line of scrimmage, and 2nd and 12 coming up at the Duke 25-yard line. But that really, I mean, talk about turning things around on one play. That's exactly what they needed.
So Boysen comes out of the game now for Berman, I believe. I think if I'm the Glenbard West defense at halftime, I think one thing I would have talked about is how to stop Kastner. And they showed it on that last play.
Assad takes the snap, looking, firing. Cote, the screen pass, trying to turn upfield and forward. It'll be ripped out of bounds about the 31, 32-yard line. Getting some of that yardage back. There's a flag down, another flag down.
No surprise, flag again.
Based on the Glenbard West reaction, could be on the Dukes. We will see. Another conference. Talk about referee conferences here. We've had quite a few of them. 7:09 left to go in the 3rd quarter. So right now, 2nd and about 8. We'll see what the call is here. It'll be a personal foul on the Dukes. So I didn't see anything after the play unless something was said. I don't believe that. Yeah, Dane, I don't think there was much to say there. We're looking at it up here. I can't see anything.
I don't see anything in the replay. I'm not quite sure what happened.
You know, again, what's nice about the Tosh in basketball, they come right up to us and say, hey, guys, so here's the call, here's who it's on, and
right.
this, that.
Yeah.
We need something like that in football. 2nd and 23 now from the 14-yard line. We'll see if they can get some of this yardage back. 6:55 to go in the 3rd quarter. Assad takes a snap, looking, and a miscommunication there between him and Assad. It was Assad running the out route. Unfair to say a misfire because there clearly was some, as I said, miscommunication. So 3rd and very, very long. Dane, another passing situation. Who are you looking to in this case?
If I'm looking for a big play, I'm looking for a player like Luke Malaga, someone who can get down the field. He's a player who can make his men miss and pick up yards after the play, after the catch.
So we'll see now, trying to draw somebody offside is Assad.
Don't
He's got
say it.
Kastner to his left. And now Ayash and Cote kind of in a stack here. Malaga and Berman up top.
It's a similar formation what the Hilltoppers are running, where Ayash and Cote are lined up like that.
Taking the snap is Assad, looking, firing. This one tipped at some point. A flag comes down. We can assume because there's only one green jersey in the area that it will come against the Hilltoppers.
I believe, I don't know if it was before the ball was released or after, whether it's going to be a hold or a pass interference, but it certainly looks to be going good for the Dukes.
It was in the secondary. Drew Cater with his hands up. It will be pass interference on the defense. Yeah. We can assume it came against Cater. He was talking to the referee there for a second, so a gift of sorts for the Duke offense.
The referee looked to pick up his...
Another flag here. I mean, we got flags flying everywhere. I assume that one is going to come against Chad Hetlett and the Glenbard West sideline.
It feels to be like there's some sort of flag every 4 or 5 plays. There's some sort of flag on one sideline or another, and the flag was thrown, obviously, on that sideline. That might be the second one.
This could be the second. I was going to say this one could be the second one against, if not Hetlett, definitely the Glenbard West sideline, unless this one is picked up and we start over. Is the head judge and the head official going over to the Glenbard West sideline now. We await a signal. We still, yet again, another sideline warning. You know what, I've never seen so many sideline warnings in my life.
I don't really, no, wait, look where the ball's placed and look where the.
There's no yardage on it. No yardage for a sideline warning. No.
Okay. All right. I don't. I'll see where look at where the third down mark is. He's got to move him up. Yeah.
So the 38-yard line is where the line to gain is. Mikey Boysen comes in now. Dane, 3rd and 4 situation. What are you doing here?
I'm looking for a pass option play. I'm looking. I'm seeing maybe Boysen takes a snap here. Yeah, and there it is. Assad's going to go wide. Boysen's going to take the snap. It's going to be a run pass option play to Kastner Boysen. Don't be surprised if Boysen takes it himself or even throws it.
Watch if we look under here.
There it is.
Boysen keeps. That wildcat works. Boysen churning forward up across midfield and to the Hilltopper 49-yard line goes Mikey Boysen. 1st and 10 for the Dukes.
The secret weapon, Gavin. Mike Boysen coming in the game, picking up those yards. And it's something that's hard to prepare for. You see Assad, he's going wide again. Mikey's going to take this. Boysen's going to take the snap again.
Fast tempo offense when Boysen is in the ball game. Handoff here to Kastner. He comes on the near side, turning forward, and should be marked a 1st down depending on the spot. It will be, and we keep on going.
And they're looking to pick up a little bit more momentum.
Please forgive me. It will be 2nd and 1. Boysen still in.
I think this read option play is working, Gavin. I think they continue to do this. This is how they're getting downfield. It worked in the first half.
They found their answer in the run game. Boysen again looking for a 1st down. He'll have it across the 39-yard line. 1st and 10 yet again for the Dukes. Mike Boysen, that's spark plug right now.
Right now, yep.
So 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Dane, this is another situation. You need points. We need to get some points on the board. This defense playing so well.
You got to try something different.
You need something.
Boysen's going to take the snap again, Gavin.
Keep in mind, folks, Boysen can throw as well. Handoff to Kastner up the middle across the 30. Boysen still in the ball game. Kastner to his left, taking the snap. Boysen, the Wildcat, yet again. Barrels forward, runs over a man, and gaining a few more yards. It'll be 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5 possibly.
And And the bench is loving it as well, Gavin. They're getting amped up. They're getting into it. Boysen's loving it, as you just said. Boysen can throw, too.
3rd and 7 from the 34-yard line. They go with Boysen on the carry. We'll get to about the 31-yard line. Interesting call there. 4th and 4. They keep the offense out there. Dane, this is making a statement. What do you do now? Now we talk about Boysen throwing. You think he does in this case?
I don't know, Gavin. I'm really not sure. I think you trust your run game.
And before the play, timeout called here by Chad Hetlett, which gives us a second to chat here. What do you do if you're Fitzgerald? 4th and 4 situation, you need points.
I'm really indecisive here because I can't quite tell if Boysen should throw it because I don't know, because I'm just where there's not enough familiarity between Boysen and the rest of the receivers. I think, we know he can throw the ball. We know he has the ability to throw the ball. He's a former quarterback, still is listed as the backup. I'm not sure. I think Kastner's been running a really good game. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it's interesting because we see an interesting dynamic forming here tonight. Boysen introduced kind of as this threat that he wasn't last week. Last week he was pretty much solely a running back. And, right now, I mean, he actually threw a fine ball down the far sideline at the end of the first half. But yeah, you said it. You have to form a connection and familiarity amongst your receivers, and I don't think, at this point he necessarily has that, or to the extent that Max has. So I assume that you run in this situation, 4th and 4. I mean, 4 yards can be hit or miss, and we saw it. We already brought the chains out once, and it didn't go our way the first time. So if it comes down to that, hopefully, the tide kind of changes here. But nonetheless, 4th and 4 upcoming at the 31-yard line of the Hilltoppers. Mikey Boysen to command the huddle. The quarterback, Max Assad, up at the top of your screen, along with Aaron Berman at the bottom. It goes Sammy Ayash and Luke Malaga. And Patrick Kastner lined up.
Look how wide
to
open
the left.
Berman is on the right side. Same with Assad. He's nowhere near him.
And there a flag came out. We'll see. It will be false start on the Dukes.
And that's definitely a mental loss.
And you talk about it, shooting yourself in the foot. So we will move back.
Oh man, now you really don't know what to do.
I mean, now it is a throwing situation
for sure.
4th and 9 from the 36.
I think Fitzgerald's going to show a little bit of trust. Then Boysen here to throw the ball, hopefully.
Boysen, the Carthage commit, 4:17 to go in the 3rd quarter. Kastner lined up to his left. Same formation as before amongst receiver. Boysen steps back.
That's me. I don't.
The pass thrown by Boysen intercepted.
I want to say there was a little bit of a bump with Berman running that crossing route. I don't know if he would have been there. I don't.
That's like you said. It's a tough call because you're also asking someone to throw the football whose only pass tonight has been in the ball game.
Right, and he hasn't really warmed up much. Right, this is the 2nd pass tonight.
Handoff here now to Moore. Up across the 20.
It's just it's a tough mental loss because it's the 3rd time they've gotten within the 25-yard line, and they just can't get anything to work.
They certainly have been hovering right outside that red zone, but unfortunately the red zone efficiency just hasn't been there tonight.
And the scoreboard doesn't show it, but
Speech looks for anything. Now firing. This one caught by Lamorris. He'll struggle to be brought down by Kavanaugh. The play whistled dead. Up across into the 45-yard line was the Iowa commit, Denon Lamorris. Dane, this is the part where it just kind of gets grueling, and you really gotta just tough it out, because this is a tough situation as is, and a strong Glenbard West offense doesn't make it much better. The handoff here to Moore, met with a bunch of green jerseys topped off by Jeffrey Cognalis. There was numerous Dukes in there on the tackle, including Brandon Walker. 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So Dane's 2nd and 9 here from the 46-yard line of the Hilltoppers. Again, in 14-0 lead. The Duke defense has certainly helped keep this ball team in it. Looking, speak, firing. This is Lamorris again. He's dragged down. They're on the tackle.
That's a tough man to get brought down. Johnson with the first hit.
That was Grandolfo.
Jones. I'm sorry. Jones with the first hit.
Grandolfo. 3rd and 2 at the 47-yard line of the Dukes. They need it again.
Okay.
Oh, I love the cold. 2:15 left to go in the third quarter. There's some trouble with the power cord up here. Speak under center. The handoff to Moore. We've been calling his name a lot tonight, so we come up with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. 14-0. 2nd and 6 now from the 26. Dane, it's hard to say what would you do defensively, because we're asking so much of this Duke defense.
Right, we keep saying it all
night
long.
They've really kept it up to this point. It's forward in motion, handoff straight up the middle to Moore, and that barrel across the 20-yard line for a first down.
That motion continues to throw the defensive line, that box. It continues to throw them off. It's spreading them apart and opening holes up the middle. As they pick up the first down, that's another tough blow as they get inside the 20-yard line.
Just under a minute and a half to go in the third quarter. It is 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. Sampson and Moore in the backfield. Speak takes the snap, handoff to Sampson, left side, inside the 10, inside the 5, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Glenbard West. They lead now by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say about that.
Minute and 2 left to go in the third quarter. Yeah, at this point, it's just it becomes draining, right? Because they've been right there. I mean, they've been so close, and you know, a 14-3 ball game feels a whole lot different. 14-3, 14-7, whatever it may be, feels a lot different than a 21-0 ball game.
Right. It's gonna be tough coming back 3 touchdowns in just the fourth quarter. Especially against a strong defensive team. We said it in the first quarter. You don't want the defense to be out there all night, and that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been putting up really well with this offense. You know, I just feel like there should be a few more scores by the Dukes up on the scoreboard. Right now it's just a mental game, and they're losing it.
A minute and 2 left to go in the third quarter. 21-0, Glenbard West now leads. I mean, in a situation like this, the clock certainly becomes a factor. Right. And you have to turn to the air. In terms of wide receivers, who are you looking to in these situations? But not just Malaga.
Okay, Sammy Ayash. He's been playing on the other side of Malaga, drawing that weak side. I think he's a player that, you know, he'll catch those five-yard out routes, the quick slants. I think he has the ability to get open and even pick up some yards after the play.
So now Maddock on to kick. Malaga and Kastner await the return, and we'll get another look at the Duke offense. The kick is short. This one fielded by Myers and met with some authority at the 33-yard line. It's Justin Myers on the catch. 58 seconds left in the third quarter. Dane, that fast-paced offense would really pay off right now.
Yeah, it would. I'm excited to see the offense get back out there. Of course, as Boysen and Assad get back out there. As Assad is making the play call, I could see Assad getting in there at quarterback again. I think there's gonna be some plays coming out of that back pocket of Fitz,
Agreed.
Coach Fitz.
Boy's gonna take the snap. Hand off to Kastner. Finds some running room, and to the 39-yard line goes Patrick Kastner. 50 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
The one thing I don't understand, and I'm not trying to like bash anything, but I mean, I understand why they're putting in both Mikey and Assad, or yeah, Boysen and Assad, but if they're just gonna throw Assad out there, if they're just gonna throw Assad out there every time and he's not gonna catch the ball, I don't understand the point. I mean, unless he does catch the ball, I do want to see him
Boysen
catch
holds,
a pass,
carries, and trying to barrel forward. But behind the line of scrimmage with 15 seconds to go in the third quarter, that will most likely do it for the third quarter. And that will. So at the end of the third quarter, it is 21-0 Glenbard West. Dukes will be at their own 39-yard line, 3rd and 4 upcoming.
Third quarter. Hilltoppers on top 21-0.
So to start the fourth quarter, it will be 3rd and 4. Assad back in at quarterback with Kastner to his left. Taking the snap now, looking and surveying, fires. Patrick Cote unable to corral it and bring it in. Went incomplete. So now 4th and 4, similar situation. You assume will not be going for it. That makes sense in their own territory, so the punt team comes out.
That's a tough call. I mean, yeah, it's the fourth quarter. I mean, it's early in the fourth quarter, of course, but again, you just got to keep pinpointing back to the mental mistakes, getting down on yourself early on.
Bachilo to boot. Great punt there. Across the 25 and to the 24-yard line is where Glenbard West will get another look. So the story has been the same for quite a few minutes now. It's been that three-headed monster with Ford, Moore, and Sampson for Glenbard West. And you know, it only takes so long before you wear out a defense, and there's so much to read. And so much, do even before the play starts. But you just have to keep up. 11:45 to go in the ball game. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. And if you're Glenbard West, you're starting to think about the time too, and kind of running this ball game out.
Right now, you really have to expect to run. There's no need to throw the ball and
off
make
to Moore.
mistakes.
He's got some room. Great blocking up front. Moore's got a little bit more left in him. And to the 40, 7-yard line. It was Jalen Moore.
So elusive, so difficult to bring down.
You know, attribute that to great blocking from the offensive line of Glenbard West. So each firing, near side. This one corralled and brought in. Great tackle there from Jalen Jones. It was Justin Thomas on the reception, but that was just a great tackle. Julius Ellens on the reception, but Jalen Jones, great tackle, really textbook tackle. And ripping the man down. 2nd and 6 coming up
We haven't
from the
seen
49-yard line.
many of those. We haven't really seen many open field tackles like that. Most of the tackles we've seen tonight have taken multiple players.
Handoff here to Moore.
Kind of like that.
Met with a swarm, and topping him off is Dominic Carrillo. Injured on the play is Moore, I believe. So Jimmy Zidlow will get a look here. Excuse me, Jason Thomas. Frederick Levins receiving some medical attention here on the Duke sideline.
I don't think he wants the attention, but he's certainly getting followed by the trainer.
Trips on the right side. Speak takes a snap. Handoff to Zidlow, barreling forward for another Glenbard West first down.
Number 20, Will Sackett. Take on the run for the Hilltoppers.
1st and 10 from the Duke 42-yard line. Sonny Sampson in motion, taking the grab, bounces off a tackler, makes his way forward, up across, and should be about a first down for Sampson with 9:30 left to go in the 4th quarter.
Again,
Apologies, that was Jason Thomas on the run.
I honestly
There's not too much to say.
don't have anything to say right now.
9:19 to go in the 4th quarter. Speak sends another man in motion, loses the football, and jumping on top of it, Speak. That could have been another gift. That's the thing, this Duke defense, like we talked about, has played so well. It's held an offense, that put up 56 points last week to just 21. Tonight, if things are headed the way that they look like they're headed, it just comes down to offensive efficiency. It's pretty much just within the 40-yard line. Speak rolls out now, looks, fires, deep ball, and
I swear
incomplete.
if I see a flag come out.
Great coverage there from Hayden Rainier.
Starting to get a
3rd
little
and
worried.
15 coming up.
Finally, we see a throw, a deep ball throw from a quarterback who we haven't seen throw much, over about 10 yards tonight.
From a lot of what we understood was that Speak was mostly a quarterback who rolled out a lot. We haven't seen it. It's kind of like a half roll. It takes like 3 steps and then
Right.
fires the ball. Not much of a classified rollout, typical traditional rollout, but hey, so be it.
He kind of knows what he wants to do before he does it.
8:30 to go in the ball game. Speak steps back, surveys again, fires across the middle, incomplete.
That should bring up the punt team.
That pass intended for Julius Ellens. So 4th and 15.
No, they're gonna go for it, Gavin.
This is, if they convert this first down here. I know it's only 21-0. It feels like it feels like a wider margin than that at the moment. But I would just be piling it on. 2:30 left to go in the ball game. Speak, steps back again, 3-step drop, fires this one across the middle. This one intercepted. And here we go, off to the races. David Locke has his second interception in 2 weeks. All right, in a week.
All right, wow.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on.
Okay,
Hey,
hold
the
up.
phones. Hold on. All right, stop.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait. That's going to switch around the momentum there, Gavin, for a minute. I believe the only I'm I mean, yeah, it was 4th down. I wasn't expecting much on that 4th down, but the interception, I believe that's a second interception.
His second interception, 2 games.
And he's the only sophomore starting on this defense.
Trips to the right side, taking the snap now is Assad. Screen pass to Malaga, and he was just his shoelace there.
My bad.
So 2nd and 12 coming up, 8 minutes left to go. So an aggressive Chad Hetlett and a Hilltopper offense cost them this situation. We'll see what the Dukes can make of it.
Yeah,
2nd and 11.
Definitely an overconfident mistake from the head coach. Should be a flag.
Thank
there
you,
it is.
Thank you.
I
I thought for a second there we weren't going to get some. So 2nd and 11
for a
will turn in.
second.
2nd and 11 will turn into 2nd and 6. This one will move up to the 46-yard line now. See here, Cote up top, Berman to his right, and at the bottom it's Ayesh and Malaga. Assad takes a snap, looking, firing, has Ayesh tipped and caught. Sammy Ayesh across at the 20, at the 15, and barreling forward up to the 13-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Dukes. Sammy Ayesh on the catch. That got scary.
Definitely not the way that they drew it up, but it worked out.
Oh, man. All right,
Dude, I don't even know what's going on these last 3 plays.
It's an emotional roller coaster. 7:15 left to go in the ball game. Handoff to Kastner, going up the middle, and stopped about the line of scrimmage. 7 minutes now here in the 4th quarter. You gotta have some urgency here.
Right. And okay. The one thing I was thinking is you paused there for a second was, are they gonna throw Boysen in here? What are we gonna see here with the RPO? Is Max gonna stay under center? No, he won't. I do like the play call.
I do too.
I at the same time, I want to see Assad
get
involved in the game.
Agreed. Boysen takes a snap, handoff to Kastner up the middle, has some running room, but inside the 10, and this has been the part of the field that's caused some trouble for the Dukes, unable to convert. You know, really, I mean, actually, might be the furthest we've gotten all night. But this is definitely a danger zone for the Dukes, and we'll see if they can kind of change the tide here. 3rd and 5, 6:15 left in the 4th quarter. Boysen, direct snap, running, cutting back, trying to barrel forward. At the most, he'll gain a yard, maybe 2. It'll now be 4th and 5.
You obviously got to go for it.
4th and 3 at the 6-yard line. 5:50 to go in the 4th quarter. So Patrick Cote, known as the blocking wide receiver, checks into the ball game now, as well as Ayesh, Malaga, Kastner still in the ball game, along with Berman and Assad. So Boysen out now. I assume this is also an interesting situation.
All over the place. Expect the pass. I mean, you only do need 3 yards here. I think this Glenbard West defense has figured out the Boysen secret move.
Timeout called by Fitzgerald. So obviously they need as much time to think about it as we do. So Dane, kind of unpack this a little bit. 4th and 3 at the 6-yard line. It's a hit or miss situation. Obviously, if they don't convert, Glenbard West has the length of the field to go, so we can expect them to kind of run this down inside 2 minutes, at least. So what are you doing here in this situation?
Well, really, you do want to score the ball here, obviously, but you only need 3 yards. You don't need the 6. So do you pass it? Do you run it? I'm thinking maybe expect a screen pass or or a run to Kastner. Like I said, you only need the 3 yards, and I think we've seen Kastner over and over and over again pick up those 3 yards. But I'm not sure what to expect here. Obviously, no Boysen in the backfield.
So 5:21 left in the ball game. Dukes trail 21-0. 4th and 3. The ball is on the 6th.
The 3 receivers.
A 3 receiver set. Kastner to the right of Assad, and now we will have another timeout taken by Fitzgerald. So clearly he didn't like the look.
Yeah, he didn't like the formation, the defensive formation. I think he's hesitant. He doesn't know if he wants to throw him Boysen or not. I don't even know if I'd throw him in either. Depends on how predictable he really is. And if we're being honest here, you don't convert this. You really don't have much to look
If you
for.
don't convert this, it's probably ball game.
Yeah, I didn't know if
you could
say it or not.
Dane, that's okay to say. Now again, we are York Sports Network, so we're a little bit biased, but
yeah, but I don't
that's just
yeah.
the fact of the matter, right? We have to say it how it is at some point. And eventually this emotional roller coaster will come to an end. But it's been, the energy was down at some points, but for the most part, I thought we were riding pretty high.
So now, as expected, they'll throw Berman in there, who wasn't on the field to begin with.
So now 4 wide receivers, Malaga up top. Now, we saw this last season with Malaga up top. Sometimes some natural screen set here looking. Assad, Malaga looking. Inside, he was hit hard.
I feel like he got it. I don't know if they're going to place it correctly. He did get there somewhat. He got knocked back pretty hard.
It'll be a first down for Glenbard West, and with that 5:14 left to go in the ball game. 21-0. I tell you what, Luke Malaga took a pretty hard hit there. Dane, that was pretty close.
I'm looking at this replay. I think he had it, but it's not how it went on the field.
So, 5:14 to go in the ball game. 21-0 Dukes trail. 1st and 10. Inside the 4. Hey, there's still some room for possibilities, especially knowing this defense.
You need a takeaway.
You need a takeaway. Another takeaway. That is.
And again, that's the 4th time gotten inside the red zone and just can't convert, can't put the ball in the end zone. It's not like Glenbard West is really outplaying the Dukes. We just can't convert and score points when we need them.
Luke Ford rushing for the first down up to the 14-yard line. 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, that's
running forward and more for the first down.
Happens a lot.
Huh? So 4:40 now. Yeah, Dane, this is just this is the deflating part of the ball game.
Not much to say, not much to think.
More in motion, they give it to him. Cutting back, the tackle there, shoelace tackle there. Actually, shouldn't say shoelace. The tackle there made by Matthew Gavin. Just under 4.5 to go.
If you really want a chance at this, you got to try and punch the ball out. You can't really go for the tackle so instantly. I just think this whole second half has been more of a mental game than a physical one. I think they lost it.
So Speak all alone in the backfield for the most part. He will send more in motion. He'll fake the give. And now firing, and a flag will fly. This one will most likely come against Jalen Jones.
Sorry. I feel like I'm a player down there. The way I'm feeling, this is just, it's just heartbreaking because this is a team that they have been looking to beat for the last 500 days. Ever since that loss last year in the fall. You think about it, it's crazy. That was fall of 2019. It is now spring 2021.
Ball placed at the spot of the foul will be on the Glenbard West 49-yard line. The give here to Sampson. He'll find a little bit more running room, but brought down by Jalen Jones. 3:30 left to go in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, I mean, you know what? It was a game that, you know, to be honest with you, this was a really, really, really good ball team coming in Glenbard West. You know, just
there's absolutely no reason to keep your head down. You know what I mean? Keep your head held high. When you get back into the film room on Monday, look back on what you did good. You know, put some props on the run game. Props to the defensive front. Props to the defensive backs as well. Doing a great job stopping the passing game when they do throw.
Cuts back, cuts forward, and there will be a flag flying here. It looked like could have been holding, possibly.
I think they need to. Sorry, I'll let you figure this out first.
It was holding, so this one comes against Danny Vesovic. Just under 3 minutes left to go. So, yeah, I mean, this is just, it's, especially this last drive here, it's a little bit deflating. But honestly, you know, like I said, talented team coming in. They hung around. This Duke team, this Duke defense especially, did a pretty good job of hanging around. Handoff here, straight up the middle. Met by Nolan Korzanowski. Let's go.
You got it that time.
With Sampson.
A little bit of help. Korzanowski, that's a big body. Someone who can make plays up the middle. Listed as, I believe, a linebacker.
Excuse me, Jason Thomas on the carry. So third and one, coming up 2:15 left to go in the ball game. So reminder, next week, the Dukes will be playing on Saturday morning as Sampson up across the 35-yard line at the 34. Dukes will be playing on a Saturday morning. Bobby Hessling will be on the call for that one. I believe they play Hinsdale Central. Hinsdale Central, indeed. Ball set up at the 35-yard line now. That'll be another game. You know, obviously, Hinsdale Central not accredited with the same amount of success that Glenbard West is, but a very talented opponent. Going to be interesting to see how the Dukes take on that test. So back-to-back tough games. The handoff here is Sampson.
Yeah, Hinsdale Central, they really handed it to, I believe, who was it that they played? They won by at least 4 touchdowns last Saturday morning.
Two backs in the backfield. Hand off to Sampson. 1:11 to go in the fourth quarter. Power cord. Nope, we're good.
No, we're good.
We're good.
For you Glenbard West fans at home, Glenbard West looks to take on the Downers Grove North next week.
Nope,
really?
DGN is in a COVID pause.
DGN's got COVID protocol? Okay.
So,
so I guess
GBW opponent TBD.
Yeah, that game should get rescheduled because there's always going to be, there's probably going to be at least more than one team that's dealing with that COVID issue. LT last week.
So in victory formation are the Hilltoppers of Glenbard West. And with that, it is 21-0. This will be how the ball game ends. Dane, what are a few of your takeaways on the Duke side of things here tonight?
I think they need to get back in the film room on Monday, look back over what the thing they need to work on offensively is just getting the ball in the end zone. They know how to get the ball downfield. They know how to get in that situation, but against a tough defensive team like we saw tonight, they need to figure out how to get the ball in the end zone, get the ball in the hands of players who are going to score. But like I said, the run game in general was great. The defense, they played well. They were on the field a lot. I mean, we've talked about it multiple times. It almost sounds like overkill at this point, but 21-0, it looks worse than it really sounds. You know, they played a great game overall. Might seem biased. I'm not really sure, but
you're all good. So with that, 21-0 for Dane Emmerich. I am Gavin Hughes, and on behalf of our entire YSN crew, we want to thank you for spending your Friday night with us. The Dukes lose this one 21-0. We'll be right back next week for a matchup against